Namaste and welcome to VD Decode YouTube channel.
If you buy the cheapest solar panel today to save cash up front, you can lose over 1 lakh rupees in generation over 20 years. India is currently going through a massive rooftop solar boom. The average price per watt has dropped to record lows, but consumer confusion has never been higher. Salesmen are bombarding homeowners with a dizzying list of acronyms: Mono PERC, TOPCon, HJT, and Bifacial. When you look at them side by side, they all look like dark blue rectangles of glass, but the quotes tell a different story. One might cost 24 rupees per watt, another 28, and a third 38. You cannot see what you are paying for. We are going to cut through the jargon. We'll translate these technical acronyms into exact rupee costs and map them directly to the reality of Indian weather conditions. Because the true cost of a solar panel is decided by how its specific chemistry reacts to the brutal reality of an Indian summer over a 25-year lifespan. Standard laboratory tests measure a solar panel's efficiency at an ambient temperature of 25 degrees Celsius, but a concrete rooftop in India during summer routinely bakes at 65 to 70 degrees. This brings us to the temperature coefficient. This is the exact percentage of power a solar panel permanently loses for every single degree the temperature rises above that 25-degree baseline. A panel that looks highly efficient on a European spec sheet will actually choke in the Indian heat, losing over 13% of its power generation precisely during the sunniest months of the year. This chart shows how that heat penalty compounds. A tiny drop in daily efficiency multiplies across a 25-year warranty life cycle, turning a slight dip into massive financial losses. Installers rarely mention the temperature coefficient. That number exposes the flaws in their cheapest inventory. Understanding heat degradation is the single most important metric for an Indian homeowner. You have to stop looking at peak laboratory wattage and start looking at real-world thermal endurance. Let's compare the contenders. Mono PERC is the reliable older standard, costing 22 to 28 rupees per watt. It saves $10,000 to $15,000 up front, but power generation drops hard when heat spikes. Column 2 shows the new standard, TOPCon, carrying a slight premium. TOPCon uses an N-type silicon structure that resists thermal derating. Because it handles the heat better, it generates 5 to 8% more electricity over its lifetime compared to Mono PERC. The math is straightforward. That slightly higher upfront cost is paid back in just 3 to 4 years through higher electricity generation. Everything after that is pure profit for the remaining 20-plus years of its warranty. For the vast majority of Indian homeowners, paying a few extra rupees for TOPCon is the safest, most mathematically sound investment against the summer heat. Then we have HJT, or heterojunction technology. Think of it as the premium Ferrari of solar panels. It has top-tier efficiency, but an exorbitant price tag of 32 to 40 rupees per watt. HJT fails the standard ROI test. The upfront cost is so high that your payback period stretches to 10 or 14 years. Unless your roof space is critically constrained, the financial logic breaks down. Next are bifacial panels, which are heavily marketed with the promise of generating power from both the front and the backside. Here is the mechanical flaw for residential setups. If you mount a bifacial panel flat or flush against a standard concrete home roof, the backside receives zero reflected sunlight. You're paying extra for a feature you cannot use. Bifacial technology is highly effective, but it belongs in massive industrial solar parks or elevated pergolas where light actually has room to bounce. Purchasing solar panels requires matching the technology to your physical environment. Overpaying for premium features your roof cannot mechanically utilize is a guaranteed way to ruin your return on investment. Under the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, homeowners can receive a direct government subsidy of up to 78,000 rupees for a 3-kilowatt system. But people lose this money entirely by making simple administrative errors. The first fatal mistake is attempting to cut costs by buying cheap imported panels. To qualify, your panels must be on the approved list of models and manufacturers, or ALMM. Buying non-ALMM panels permanently disqualifies your installation from the subsidy, wiping out your upfront savings immediately. The second trap is a seemingly minor paperwork error, allowing a name mismatch between your Aadhaar card and your local electricity bill. If your Aadhaar says Ramesh Kumar, but your electricity bill says R. Kumar, the portal triggers an instant rejection. Your payout is delayed for months. Securing your solar ROI requires strict administrative discipline. The greatest hardware in the world cannot rescue a project that fails basic government compliance. Let's pull this all together into a final decision framework based on your specific climate and budget. Scenario 1. You live in a standard Indian home in a hot state like Gujarat, UP, or Telangana. The best value here is an ALMM-approved TOPCon panel from a major domestic manufacturer. It survives 45-degree summers and delivers the highest lifetime ROI. Scenario 2. You are a budget buyer, or you live in a consistently cool climate like a hill station with a massive unshaded roof. Here, Mono PERC remains a perfectly viable, fast, and cheap way to go solar, provided extreme heat is not a daily factor. There is no universal best panel. There is only the panel that correctly balances your local weather data against your specific budget constraints. When you sit down with your vendor, demand exactly this. I want an ALMM-listed TOPCon panel with a 25 to 30-year performance warranty. Over 80% of you watch these videos without subscribing. Hit subscribe to join the VD Decode family for clear, hype-free breakdowns on solar, EVs, AI, and finance. Ignore the marketing jargon. Focus entirely on the math that fits your own roof.